Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So last week I was going to talk about live baiting for WAHOO and just provide you with a tip. But I had some technical difficulties and I had a lot of shit going on, so I wasn't able to put that podcast out. Really, we're in the month of April, and this is when you can really do some damage to some large WAHOO with live bait, okay? Live bait. And live bait fishing in the month of April can produce some really nice sized dolphin on those rougher days when you don't really want to troll around and get beat up. So you can work with the ocean. So what I did was last year I created an ebook, okay? And my ebook talks about how I started live bait WAHOO fishing, and I needed to learn it. And in the ebook, I provide a tip for creating the stinger rig that, this one modified stinger rig that I use. And I get a lot of questions about stinger rigs and stuff. And, since I made this one little change years ago, this was years ago, before a lot of YouTube and social media came out. And there's a lot of new stuff out there right now, and it's hard to find something new. So today I just want to read an excerpt from the book. And if you haven't downloaded it yet, now what I learned, my technical difficulties was there was an error in the website. And when you signed up for the newsletter, you were not getting the ebook. So there was some issues there. So if you haven't been to my website, you just go there and subscribe, and then you can just subscribe to the newsletter, but you also just need to scroll down and you can subscribe and receive the free ebook. So you'll see that there. So anyways, if you haven't downloaded the ebook, I'm going to read you a little bit about live bait WAHOO fishing. And then, so in the ebook is my stinger rig setup and what I've been doing for years. So, and you can see my cable tie, what I do with that and stuff, but it's in there. I show you, I walk you through step by step in the ebook. That's free, and it'll show you how to make that stinger rig for live bait WAHOO fishing. So I love the live bait WAHOO fishing. I just don't have a lot of clients anymore that have a lot of patience to do a lot of live baiting. So we do a lot of trolling now, and I don't do much live bait fishing, but when I do, I go by myself because it is kind of a peaceful way to fish. So I just get a lot of people that really just like to troll, and that's what they like to do, and so we do it, honestly. And we don't do a lot of live bait fishing because we do catch a lot of sailfish, and clients are not wanting to sailfish anymore. So, and I get it. I mean, they want to catch stuff they can eat and they can take home. And once in a great while, I'll get a sailfish guy, but not anymore. So I don't even offer it anymore. Any more sailfish trips, nothing. When somebody calls me for sailfish, I will say, hey, we can go do some live bait fishing, but I don't make any guarantees on sailfish. We'll probably catch a whole bunch of other shit, like kingfish and WAHOO fishing. And that's when you can catch some really monster WAHOOs. I'm telling you, it's coming up. So April is a good month. It's kind of like the last hurrah down in the Keys. April and May will provide, and sometimes into June, but usually everybody gets dolphin fever, including myself, for a little while if they show up. So I'm going to read you an excerpt out of my book this morning here. And if you haven't downloaded it, please do. It has some really good nuggets in there, and I tell you how to make the grouper bomb. And I give you a link to a YouTube channel that can show you how the stinger rig setup for the goggle eye. There's just a lot of good little nuggets in there. And if you haven't done it yet, please do. I mean, it's free. And for the information I give you that's free, it's really good. So especially the information about the bait they use for WAHOO fishing. Which is, everybody knows about it now, but, you can go through and read why I did it. I mean, that's the whole fun about it. You can read why I chumballed. So here we go. I want to read you a little excerpt from the book here, and it's called Catching WAHOO on Live Bait, and it took me my 3-year journey. So I put away the WAHOO trolling rods for 3 years. I committed to zero trolling for WAHOO. My goal was to be a well-rounded WAHOO fisherman, just not another drag and snag WAHOO fisherman. Caught them trolling. So I needed to learn how to catch these fish using light tackle rigged with live bait. Let me tell you, it was painful. And at times, I wondered what the hell went on inside my brain that led me down the path of needing to learn this technique. And I got to tell you what, guys, my brain was fried for 3 years trying to learn how to catch these fish on live bait. Now, on those calm prefrontal days, I had to resist picking up the trolling gear, okay? I remember putting the trolling gear in my truck those mornings, then only to take it back out. just so I would not be tempted to use it. It was a painful 3 years and very costly. First, it absolutely sucked watching others catch wahoo on the troll during this time while I struggled learning. I was working hard to put out a live bait program. Honestly, I needed to get a live bait fishing program into place. However, I sucked it up, shut off the social media, and went to work. Took me 3 years, guys. Now here's my 3-year journey. I did catch fish, but the hookup rate was horrible. I lost several large fish, pulled the hooks on many, and lost large fish at the boat. I used that off season to work through the issues as I knew it wasn't easy to figure out. It also required me to educate clients and put a lot of teaching time into the charter. I thought to myself, now I know why guides troll rather than live bait fish. And that's the truth. It's still true. I was not expecting that because I used trolling rods, which were very heavy. So year one came to an end, and I rolled into the off season, continuing to practice on kingfish. Yes, kingfish, guys. I practiced all summer, and we caught some monsters that year. Some of the biggest kingfish of my life. Second year. And also, too, guys, now that's not in the book, as I was live bait fishing for wahoo, I really studied the bottom, okay? I really studied the bottom, and I found some really good mutton fishing spots. Red groupers, stumbled upon them by accident. All sorts of shit, okay? So, second year, I thought I was going to slay the wahoo. But I didn't. I was wrong. I put in a lot of hard work during the off season, and man, I got burned. We did have some decent days, but the bad days, they outweighed the good ones. Clients continued to pull the hooks, and we missed several fish, but I got a lot of wahoo bites. However, I did get a small win that winter because I dialed in that bite, and I found where the fish were staged along the reef line. Now, I also learned how long they stayed in one area before they moved on. Year 3. Guys, it was a long, painful 3 years. And I was like, oh. And I thought, I'm surprised Melinda's still with me, honestly. That off season, I started working with adrenaline rods. Now, the kayakers that I was sponsored through Jimmy Jigs were having great luck using the live bait rods by Adrenaline. And they were using them for wahoo fishing. And the kayakers are badass wahoo fishermen when it comes to live bait, okay? And I wanted to try them out. I wanted to try the Adrenaline rods out for my clients, so I purchased 4 rods from Adrenaline designed for live bait fishing for wahoo. Then I focused on a stinger rig. The rig it's a standard stinger rig. It's just a standard rig. All the guides use, but I was not happy with it. It was called the WAHOO rig is what they call it. Why? Because clients continued to pull mini hooks. And the baits were fouling up, and it was just a nightmare. Ends up being because of the loose stingers. So I was using goggle eyes, and I was using Speedos, and the stingers would get fouled up, and it was just a nightmare. So as I sat at my desk during a tropical storm, for some reason I grabbed a bag of zip ties, and I have a lot of zip ties. I secured the stinger rig, part of the rig, to the shank of the hook, creating a modified stiff rig. And I also grabbed some frozen dead goggle eyes, and I practiced. I practiced on sizing up the hooks, making the right size stingers for the type of baits that I would have. I found that there were 3 sizes that I needed to make for the different sizes of the goggle eyes, and for the different sizes of Speedos, full-grown Speedos, medium stingers, small Speedos, and you had to have all that different type of freaking stinger hooks ready. You had to, and you had to have at least 40 of them per trip, because that's how many bites you would get on a really good day. And the last thing you wanted to be doing was out there making up stinger rigs in front of your clients. So I literally spent hours and hours and days and tons of money making stinger rigs. So that fall, I practiced with the new rig I created, and the hookup rate skyrocketed, guys. It was like amazing. It reduced the foul hook baits, and the stinger rig stayed hooked. And then that winter, we caught up to wahoo up to 70 pounds. I caught one of my biggest wahoo. A 70, 80-pound wahoo in the Keys is really big. We rarely get those 110-pounders that you just seen caught here recently. up in Boynton Beach, and that was caught on the troll. So we're catching 70 to 80 pound wahoos on live bait rigs. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. And my clients pulled several hooks that they didn't pull. They didn't pull. I said several, but that's not the truth. They pulled very few hooks that winter. So I had success. Now, best yet, we were catching them on light tackle. So the wahoo bites I witnessed were epic. I seen wahoo come flying out of the water. They looked at you with your eyes. They're big eyes. It's like addicting. It was like addicting getting those bites. And that's all I wanted to do. Those were 3 years of my life. They went by fast, guys. I missed out on building a social media accounts because I was learning how to wahoo fish. And all that while, I was learning how to do live bait mutton snapper fishing as well. And I learned about them a lot. I know a lot about them. And I keep that locked up in my vault, in my brain, because I share that once in a while. So when I feel the need. But anyway, so below are just, in the book, I go into a few reasons why the rig helped me catch more wahoo in the Florida Keys. The cable tie prevented the stinger hook from fouling up the bait, which is true. It runs stiff along the side of the bait, so the fish can't really see it. The rig helped keep the trailer hook laying snug against the back of the bait while the wire blended in with the back of the bait. It was tough for the fish to see. The baits didn't foul. 1 out of every 10 bait fouled on me, so they're swimming absolutely perfect. And then that black cable tie, that I put on there, it just keeps the bait. Like I said, it keeps the stinger from swinging around and fouling the bait, and it improved hook sets. You guys can see on my Instagram. If you go and follow me on Instagram, you go to the front page of my Instagram page. I've got a video on there. It shows you those stinger tie rigs that I use, and I've been using them long before. Like I said, long before YouTube came. Like the YouTubers started using it, and a lot of YouTubers are using my rig now, which is great. So I think it's awesome. Sharing certain things are awesome if it makes people better as far as fishing goes, and you're applying it and you're making other people smile. And that's, for me, that's the best. If you're making people smile, then people are having a good time, and you're educating them with some of the content that I share. I'm okay with that. But that's just life. It's like certain things fishermen are willing to share, and what I'm willing to share, I put on the podcast. So to get the instructions for this rig, you need to download my ebook. And like I said, you go to the Good Karma. Go to my website. It's goodkarmasportfishing.com. Okay, and then you go to my page. You go to my homepage. You go to the bottom of my homepage, and in the right corner, you'll see subscribe to my monthly newsletter and instantly receive my ebook. It's all good. Stories, fishing tips, and species guide. I put some fun stuff in there for you guys. It's for you guys, okay? I do not sell your information. I do not, okay? You go onto my newsletter list, and you figure out, and then from there, we give you some news of what's happening with Good Karma Sport Fishing and what's happening with the bite. It's there for my clients. I have my newsletter, but in potential clients that might want to book with me in the future, that are, still learning about me. And a lot of people do their homework, which you need to do your homework before you fish with somebody. So yeah, it's all good. So that's why it's there. And two, I'm talking a little bit about the rigging crew before I'm going to sign off for today. The rigging crew is a paid group. It costs $49 a month. We meet once a month, typically in the middle of the month. It's, the meetings can go from 1 hour to 2 hours. It just depends. On the information that we're covering. So you also will receive discounts on fishing rods. You will also receive discounts on custom fishing rods as well. That's only available to the rigging group crew. And you'll get to receive vertical jig discounts and all sorts of other stuff that we're working on as well as far as discounts go for that group only. Again, it's a paid group. It's $49 a month, and you'll get access to the private Facebook group, which I am showing lures that are working for me right now that are for that specific group only. So if you want to really get involved and really start taking some fishing to the next level, it's a great entry group for you guys. And a lot of guys in there they're really eager. And I want to send a shout out to one of my rigging crew members for catching a badass wahoo yesterday and some big dolphin on one of the rigging crew lure baits that we've worked at together in the group on modifying a bait that is like used, and we've made it better, I think, personally, because the bites are more consistent. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome to see the guys in the group really having some awesome success that are very like still wanting to learn. So they're having quick success, and it's cut years off the learning curve. And what the private Facebook group does, it's like you're able to put questions in there for me. And if I'm able to answer them, and I also put up some videos in there, which I'm going to be doing more for the summer. As the group grows, the videos will be coming in there, and you'll have access to those. Now, all the calls are recorded as far as the seminars go, so you'll have that as well to go back and look back to. And every month we're working on new stuff, hard to find stuff, that we're not willing to share over the internet. So because of the way information gets shared nowadays, it's not, it's something that I'm uncomfortable with putting out. So, but that stuff is for the rigging crew members. And again, the cost is $49 a month. Hopefully, if you're interested in joining, you'll need to email me at goodkarmaryan@gmail.com. I just want to make sure you're a good fit for the group, and before we can, move forward. But that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will be putting out a fishing report here, so stay tuned. Download my ebook. It's full of good nuggets, including a nugget on catching big black groupers. Big black groupers coming up May 1st. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Follow me on Instagram, goodkarmasportfishing_FL_keys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.